Met someone the other day who's a meth head. That's always a good way to start a self-help video. Anyway, I was in one of those bogan supermarkets out, well, let's be honest, west. Deep west. Anyway, I was there. This guy was just going around, chucking things into his grocery, you know, the trolley just being like, hey, what you doing now, mate? Just grabbing heaps of cereal. So much cereal, obviously very sugary. You know, all of that crap. Then he's like, hey, going back. And I was like, are you hoarding? But then I just realized, no, look at those gaunt cheeks. That guy isn't hoarding. He's not just naturally insane. It's the meth. So I went home, I looked at the meth, I looked at the meth thing. That's what I'm now going to call my computer from now on, the meth box. I was looking into the meth box, had a gander at what it does to the human mind. Now apparently, what that meant was fulfilling is what happens when you smoke the meth pipe, and let me know if you're a meth addict. How's that going for you? And how's watching a self-help channel? But this is what I found out some very scary things about it, obviously. I didn't realise that it was known as the scariest drug for a reason. Except, of course, that vice drug that turns you into a zombie, man. Whoa. I'm sick of them finding all of these drugs that no one knows about and like, have you tried this? It's really dangerous. Of course you haven't. It's only found right here. It's like those old Discovery Channel documentaries of the entire train system in the US is it completely impenetrable to terrorist attack, except of course this track right here that you should never plant a bomb on. Well, that's pretty much, well, how's that related to meth again? Look, let's just go through the character traits of him. I didn't know that what meth actually does is stimulating your brain 200 times the level of dopamine that it normally has. It just goes, dah. That old Windows startup sound. Dah. Oh no, wait, back. Yeah, so anyway. He takes the meth, you take the meth, that happens. You just, obviously, because your brain is not supposed to be that happy, as soon as you have it, it is the most addictive substance because you are never ever going to get that feeling in real life from anything. Apparently they were doing an experiment with mice where they would give them either crystal meth in one little satchel here and then food in another and then lock them off with doors. They could only go into one or the other. They couldn't go into both. Every time the mice chose meth until they died. It was more important to them than food. This is why there's so few people that recover from meth. When you have it, you need extreme circumstances to get off it. Actually, I was reading a lot of the time, it's things like the Bible, Tony Robbins, those kind of things. Tony Robbins is that guy from The Simpsons of, we used to call that infinite power of God. We now call it Megaphonics, the 48 keys to total success. But the way this guy got off it, I can't even remember his name, otherwise I'd shout it out, but it seemed like a nice dude. He's got that really chill ginger vibe of a recovering meth addict. You know that chill vibe? He was saying that, you know, you start just getting very, very intensely focused in things that are extremely boring, which is why meth heads, the best feeling on earth is A, obviously having a wank, but B, on top of that, cleaning the house. Now, I've known this with other friends of mine who have partaken in meth before, and let's be honest, still are. But you go to their house, it's spotless. It's really strange. If anyone else knows any meth heads out there, let me know if that is just a common thing that happens. You know, that and dying. But I'm sorry, I really do have to reiterate this. Look, I'm using it as kind of just a brain mechanism that happens in your head. I'm not saying that you just give it a go. Like the tidiest, talk about clean your room. I mean, Jordan Peterson, am I right? But he was saying that when you are cleaning your room, what is actually getting enabled in your mind? Like, it just enhances anything that feels good anyway, right? To an nth degree. So it's just making it, like, sex is unbelievable when you're on meth. Masturbating, obviously. Apparently he was in his room for a week straight wanking. You feel rough after doing 3 in a day, right? I don't want to think about his cock. He's so raw and bloody. His cock would look like Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. So, What interested me a lot, though, was the fact that he was saying that calculus became extremely interesting to him, and cleaning his house, just reorganizing the entire house. Those two things piqued my interest. And I was thinking about it, and I remembered. That's why Eat That Frog works. From Brian Tracy to meth, only on Jordan Shanks. Because Brian Tracy is always saying it's one of his key pieces of advice. Don't forget to eat that frog. Now, what does eat that frog mean? For anybody who hasn't heard me say it 1,000 times before, eating that frog is doing the most difficult task you possibly can in the morning. Doing the thing that you know is most necessary to do in that day, do it first thing. The reason that you want to do it, A, is because it gets rid of the mental stress that you have of, oh, I've got to do that. Even if you just start on it, that's the whole thing. It's the same thing with stand-up. I'm always doing this. I'm always trying to reorganize my life to make it more efficient. I am the meth addict for hours in my day. Just like, what if I put that there? What if I put that? That's what I do in my day, right? And so my morning ritual changes throughout the years, and sometimes it comes back and goes forth. Whatever is cool for me at that moment, man. But I am doing that. I am currently, because I'm working on my newest stand-up show, and you will find every excuse in the book to delay writing, obviously. I don't know why that is, but it is just a really difficult task for human beings to just sit there with their own thoughts and organize them. It's hard. It's not hard. The process of it is way easier than a plumber's job, but the process of just getting into it, I don't know, I do envy that thing of just going like, oh yeah, so we've got to take out this big pipe of syrup, oh no, win in my face, ah. I think that they have a better life, frankly. The writing thing is difficult to get into. That's why you do it first thing in the morning. You just start with a word, and then that turns into a sentence, and that turns into a paragraph, and before you know it, you're in the process of doing it. And at the end of it, you feel ecstatic. Why is that? Because your brain is rewarding you with a dopamine hit. That's what this guy was saying. So when you're on crystal meth, everything is being intensified, so the feelings that you normally get of dopamine releases are even more intensified. So when you are having sex, you are feeling, I think, something like 7 times the normal amount of dopamine. Yeah, fuck me dead. Meth gives you 200 times that. I can't remember what it is, right? I don't even know the exact math types, but you know, if you're fulfilling any task, your brain just gives you a little reward. Yay! That's why eating that frog is really the wholesome way of doing meth. It is. It so is. If you eat the frog first thing in the morning, you get that dopamine hit first thing in the morning. And what happens when you get a dopamine hit? You want to get another, because that is why you go back to meth. It is because of that huge release of dopamine. You can't, it's so addictive that you can't stop thinking about it even if you quit. For the rest of your life, it's just something in the back of your mind being like, what did you do, what did you do, what did you do, what did you do? And I've been thinking about this and how I've become such a productive person over the years. It is because of that. It's because I am addicted to getting tasks done now. It's because your brain links up that every time you get something done, you're going to get a little so you start doing it. And then when you're looking at the computer, which also does release dopamine, but just not in the same levels. When you're doing these lower activity tasks that you know are bullshit and wasting your time, you look at them and you just feel kind of gross after a while. And you're just like, I want to get that hit again. You are making yourself a meth addict. Do things that are beneficial to you. That's why you need to start eating that frog. If you're not doing it now, this is a reminder if you are, but if you aren't, start doing it. Do the hardest thing in the morning first. You know, this can exclude the morning ritual, because that's all just about preparing your mind, right? That's, you know, exercising, read, meditate. You can do all those things first, that's fine. But actually, I also find that really difficult as well if I don't read first thing in the morning. So really, I was lying to you, I'm sorry. I'm so naughty. But it should have been reading, well, all the other things, but yeah, reading. And then after that, I start writing my stand-up. And it's because if I don't read first thing in the morning, I'm not going to read for the rest of the day. And also, same with the stand-up. I'm not going to do that for the rest of the day. And then, because you're constantly trying to put off what's important for what's urgent. Your brain is constantly telling you, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. And those are just kind of like short-wave tasks. Those just feel more urgent in your mind. So my urgent task would be doing things for Friendly Geordies, no offense. Or for this channel, no offense. But, you know, the main aim is to make a stand-up show for the year. It's a difficult process, especially when you're releasing, I don't know how many pieces of content are released now, 400 pieces of content a week, whatever it is. Yeah, it's probably 400. But your brain would prefer that you do those urgent things, but then you just get that little hamster on the treadmill life of, because it's always, as they always say, when you die, your inbox is going to be empty. So you have to do the important things first, I think anyway. Do them first. That's your frog. That's the thing that you don't want to do, but when you do it, you get the dopamine hit, and then when you wake up the next morning, you want just the same as a meth addict. I want that dopamine hit again. I want that dopamine hit again. So there's a lot of wisdom to the meth addict. I'm saying don't take meth, but learn why they take meth and then use it to your own advantage. Don't help them though. Their life's ruined. I don't know how you do help them though. Honestly, just out of curiosity, I would like to know this. If you are a recovering meth head, can you tell me how you got out of that? I don't see a way out. The thing that I heard was that, like, this guy, I think, just got really obsessed with psychology, because whatever you just put in front of a meth head, they're just like, oh wow, that's amazing. So I think he just got obsessed with psychology. He realized that what he was doing was really fucking his brain off. He was like, oh yeah, how else am I fucking it up? And then he just got so versed in it that he was able to kind of wean himself off. But for the rest of his life, he's just screwed, basically. No offense. He seemed like a nice guy. It's very tragic. And then the other one was, yeah, just hearing about this ex-porn star. Knows so much about porn. but like, yeah, anyway. She was, it was some documentary I was watching ages ago about it, and she and her meth addict boyfriend just started getting obsessed with the Bible and going, no way, that's awesome. So they started, as meth heads, going to Bible reading circles with all these nice old nanas going, oh, Job 8. And they're just like, oh yeah, Job 8's awesome. Just stuttering back and forth because they're old people. They're like, wow, you young, it's nice to see young people very enthusiastic. And that's how they got off. They just got some form of self-help. This is why I am really opposed to people that are constantly shitting on religion. It helps people. It was the OG self-help. Maybe Marcus Aurelius' Meditations was written before it. I don't know. Well, it's one of the OGs. Fuck off. Anyway, like the video, give me more suggestions. Otherwise, I'm just going to relate more drugs to how you know what's a really cool drug, kids? Cleaning your room. It is though, am I right? Come on, give me a like. You know I'm right about it. You know I am. Oh, you're cleaning your room. That's why I didn't get your like. Well, that's fine. That's good for you anyway.